What is happening, guys? It's Spruce Goose here, and today I want to show you how to gap shoot in Madden 21. Gap shooting can take a little bit of time to get comfortable with, but once you get used to it, it can really take your defense to the next level. Now, I'm going to show you 3 scenarios today: how to gap shoot against a regular run, how to gap shoot against a goal line run, and how to gap shoot against a pass, which is also called a user rush, but we're going to be user rushing up the middle instead of around the edge. Now, if you end up liking the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It's completely free, and it's a great way to support the channel. But without further ado, let's get into how to gap shoot in Madden 21. So for the things I'm going to show you in this video, there are 2 formations you have to have in your defensive playbook. That is big nickel over G and nickel 3-3-5 wide. And there are only 3 playbooks in the game that have both those formations in them. That is the 4-6 playbook, the Miami Dolphins playbook, and the New York Giants playbook. So I highly recommend running one of those 3 playbooks. So to shoot the gap against a regular run, we're going to come out in the formation big nickel over G, and preferably we're going to come out in one of these zone coverages. I think they just happen to work the best for shooting the gap against a standard run play. Now, you'll often see people sub in safeties for these linebackers right here. For our purposes of just gap shooting, all we want is speed, and the Bucks have Devin White, who is an exceptionally fast linebacker at like 91 or 92 speed, so I'm going to leave him in there, but just remember that oftentimes it will make sense to sub in some safeties in place of the linebackers. So I'm going to call cover 3 sky. We're going to put the offense on random run, and you can't shoot the gap against every run in the game, but hopefully we'll get some runs that we can shoot the gap on, so I can actually show you guys how it works. Now, the only adjustments we're going to do are we are going to pinch our defensive line, so we're going to press left on the D-pad, down on the left stick. We're going to slant the D-line outside, which is left on the D-pad, up on the right stick, and we're going to take the linebacker that we're using, and we're going to put him in a blitz. So we're going to press A on Xbox or X on PlayStation, and then down on the right stick. So now we're going to want to hover maybe 3 or 4 yards in front of the center, and the moment they hike the ball, we're just going to try to explode straight up the middle. Now on a draw it's not going to work. You saw there was no gap, that's just the nature of a draw play. But let's run this a couple times, guys, and see if we can actually get a run that you can actually shoot the gap on. So again, right there, that is a perfect example. Let's look at the replay real quick. You just hover 3 or 4 yards behind the center, and just the way it works with pinching the D-line and then slanting outside, it just opens up that gap for you to shoot right up the middle. And this works against runs under center as well. It is on completely random run right now, so we'll get some runs from single back and I form close as well. Let's just keep running through the random plays. It looks like, what was happening there? It looks like we got several shotgun plays in a row, but that's okay. Let's just run through these a couple times, and once again, you saw we shot the gap right there. So I didn't want to make any cuts in this part, guys, but the game has given me several runs in a row that you simply cannot shoot the gap on. So hopefully we'll get some good examples. I'm hoping for 3 in a row that are actually good examples of gap shoots, and there is a great example right there. So there's 1 in a row. Let's see if we can keep it going. We are pinching the D-line, we are slanting outside, we are kind of hovering 3 or 4 yards behind the center with our linebacker. And once again, ooh, and so the gap was there, but that crack block from the wide receiver guys. But you saw we still shot through that gap. It was just that, that blocker from, outside the offensive line that came and got us. And that's the one thing you can't control for that. But this is mainly to get you through the offensive line into the backfield and either taking on the ball carrier or at least taking up one of those other blockers. And again, we got through, got a weird animation, but made the tackle. So hopefully you guys can see that this can actually work. Pinch the D-line, slant them outside, take your linebacker, hover 3 or 4 yards behind the center, and you can get in the backfield and completely shut down your opponent's rushing game. So that is how you shoot the gap against a regular run. Now let's go look at how to blow up a goal line run. So when you are down at the goal line and your opponent comes out in a goal line formation, there's a very high chance that they are running fullback dive. So this is how you can completely blow up fullback dive in the backfield. So we're going to go to the goal line 6-2 formation, and we're going to run the play 6-0 out jacks. And we're going to put our opponent, in this case, on fullback dive. And what you want to do right here, guys, is spread the defensive line and go ahead and user one of these 2 linebackers right here. And just like we did before, kind of hover 3 or 4 yards behind that center. And the moment they snap the ball, there's going to be a huge gap for you to shoot through, and you can hit stick the fullback and hopefully force a fumble. But this is probably the easiest gap shoot in the game, guys. It is just so insanely open, and this has come up really clutch for me in the past. Whereas, you know, the big nickel over G gap shoot, it kind of depends on the run, and obviously this depends on the run as well. In a second, we will look at other runs they might do out of goal line, but the first time they go to goal line, there's a very, very high chance that it is going to be fullback dive, and this just completely shuts it down. It is just the easiest gap shoot in the game. Even if you don't think you can do the big nickel over G gap shoot, or it just feels like too much or too risky for you, anyone can do this gap shoot. Obviously, it is dependent on them actually running fullback dive. The first time you blow it up, they probably will not go back to fullback dive, but the first time they come out in goal line, it's absolutely worth giving it a shot. As you guys can see, we are just completely annihilating it. We'll do it one more time to show you guys just how repeatable it is. But this is one of my favorite gap shoots in the game right here, and it works every single time. Now let's say you come out in 6-0 out jacks, guessing it's going to be fullback dive, but it's not. I want to run through the different goal line runs and show you that this play is still great run defense against the goal line formation. So right now the offense is in halfback dive, but let's just do the same setup. Let's assume that it's fullback dive and spread the D-line. We're going to try and shoot that gap. But what's going to happen is we are now just going to take on that lead blocker in the backfield, and that's going to open up everything else for the rest of our defenders to come in and make the tackle. So even though we are not blowing up the running back ourselves in the backfield, we are blowing up the lead blocker in the backfield, and you know, it just lets everyone else bring down the ball carriers. So I think it's great halfback dive defense, and you guys will see in a second, I think it's great defense against pretty much any run that they can possibly do out of goal line. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, oh, what about QB sneak? If you're spreading the D-line, doesn't that make QB sneak the easiest run in the game? And I really don't think it does. If you're worried about that, you know, you could really come a little bit closer. You can still shoot the gap on fullback dive if you're only about 2 to 2.5, maybe, you know, at most 3 yards away. And if you're this far away and it's a QB sneak, you will tackle the quarterback as well. Now, if you start a full 4 yards back, then you might not get that tackle animation on the QB sneak. He might get to fall forward. But if you're really worried about the QB sneak, go ahead and get about 2 to 2.5 to 3 yards back. You can still shoot the gap on fullback dive. I just missed right there. I straight up missed. But that doesn't usually happen. I'll show you guys. Again, I'm not going to try and aim for the quarterback. I'm going to try and go straight up the middle, and we will still get a tackle animation on him. You know, so that has been my experience with QB sneak. QB sneak has not been effective against me as long as I am, you know, kind of hovering, you know, at most about 3 yards back. One more time, we'll try to go straight up the middle, and right there, our teammate got him. So I don't think that QB sneak is effective as a run against this defense, even if you are trying to shoot the gap on fullback dive. So it's that simple. So finally, guys, I've got the offense in a halfback toss, and we're really not going to shoot the gap on this one. I know this is a gap shooting video, but I'm really trying to show you that by setting up to blow up the fullback dive, you are in great run defense at the goal line. Almost any run that the offense throws at you, whether it be the fullback dive, the halfback dive, the QB sneak, or the toss outside, by setting up and kind of guessing that it'll be the fullback dive, you are protecting the goal line extremely well. But I'm telling you guys, this is very effective against almost every run play at the goal line. And you know, it's the goal line. There's nothing that's going to be 100% successful. You have to take some guesses. You can't know what the offense is running. You have to guess. And I think that this is a really great guess, so that whether they're running fullback dive, halfback dive, QB sneak, or a halfback toss outside, you can clamp them up. And again, I'm not even really doing anything. I'm just showing you how good the AI defense is on this run. So that is what I'm going to recommend, guys. Come out in 6-0 out jack, spread that D-line, hover right here. If it's fullback dive, you will shoot the gap and blow it up in the backfield. And then all the other runs, it could be, you know, it might be QB sneak or halfback dive or strong toss. You will defend those runs amazingly well. And I think it's just really good goal line run defense. Now, the final thing I want to show you guys is how to gap shoot against a pass, aka a user rush up the middle. And for that, we're going to be in the formation nickel 3-3-5 wide, and the player we're going to be in is Mike Blitz 0. Now I have a not a linebacker. I have a safety in here in this case because when you're in nickel 3-5 wide, you often want to be lurking around the middle of the field with your user, and the defensive backs get much better interception animations than the linebackers. So even though Devin White is faster than Mike Edwards, I'm going to use a safety here because that's what I'd be doing in an actual game. So let's go ahead and call Mike Blitz 0, and we're going to go to a shotgun pass. First, I'm going to show you a pass where they are sending out all 5 players, because that is when you're going to get the fastest pressure. But I always kind of press a shit over top, but that's not important for this video. We are always going to shift the D-line to the side of the running back. So the running back is on the right, and we are going to shift the D-line to the right. So press left on the D-pad, right on the left stick. We're going to slant the D-line outside, which is left on the D-pad, up on the right stick. And we are going to hover with our user on the side opposite of the running back right here. So once they hike the ball, you'll see an absolutely humongous gap open up for us, and we can just scream right at the quarterback. And honestly, guys, we can usually get even better pressure, but in practice mode, I have to start at a complete standstill. In the game, you can have the left stick partially pressed down so that when your opponent snaps it, it's very quick for you to just start running. In practice mode, if there's any input at all, it won't snap the ball. So I have to start completely off the controller, which is making it even tougher. It's making a start even later than we would before. And you can see we are still absolutely screaming at the quarterback. And I'll just show you one more time. You can just see how the gap just completely opens up, and we just come straight through it. And it's that easy. Now, let's change it up a little bit. Let's say the running back stays into block. And so it's going to be the same setup. We're going to shift our D-line towards the running back, and we're going to slant them outside. Now I'm going to press and share the top with the secondary. But you guys can see we will still get to come through and provide really great pressure on the quarterback. The running back might get over to block you, but if you react pretty quickly off the snap, and especially if you got someone fast in there, the running back can't always get there. So right there, you can see it was going to be really close. And even if the running back does pick you up, it's usually good enough pressure to make that quarterback kind of freak out and want to get rid of it, because he sees that wide open gap. He sees you screaming in there. Now, it's not something, if you run it every time, he'll eventually figure out that the running back is going to pick you up, which is why you obviously have to mix up your play calling. If you call any one thing over and over again without changing anything up, they will figure it out. But at least mixing this in there, even if the running back is blocking, you will scream through this gap and make the quarterback freak out and throw it really fast. But I think it's just an excellent tool to have. You can even shoot some runs with this setup right here. Obviously, you won't be able to shift the line in the direction of a running back. I would just go ahead and shift the line in the direction you think the run's probably going to. And then, once again, just use this middle linebacker, and you'll be able to shoot some gaps on run plays as well out of this Mike Blitz 0. But anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you guys learned something from it. I hope you found it useful. If you have any feedback for me, definitely let me know. I'm not the best Madden player at all. I've never tried to imply that, but I do feel like I know some things, and I want to pass those along to you guys to help us all become better Madden players. So again, guys, if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what videos you want to see in the future. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video.